Welcome to the Point with Clark Pena, a national podcast. We strongly endorse and support law and order. We are not a political podcast. It is not right versus left. It is right versus wrong. We believe in conversations, not confrontations. We believe that it is better to build bridges, not tear them down. To the Point podcast is a 100% uncensored talk show discussing the topics of what is happening today in our communities as well as what can happen tomorrow. Please have your comments and questions ready as we get to the point with Clark Pena. Hello, Clark.
Mike Dorita, what a start to this great show! I got to give it up to you. Got to give it up to you.
How are you? How you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. Very excited. Obviously, this is our first. We have a great guest. We're gonna have a great conversation. We're gonna rant. We're gonna let people know what we feel. This is uncensored, folks. If you don't like it, tune out.
That's right. That's right. What you see and you hear, you might like, but we're betting money that you're gonna like it. So
you're gonna like it.
You're gonna like Clark. What can't they like? I learned a lot about you, and we're very similar in some ways. And I guess people are going to see that during the show. And
Absolutely,
it's gonna be a good show. So what do you got? What do you got in store for us, Clark?
Well, you know what time it is now, Mike. You know what time it is.
I'm gonna go with Clark's rant for 200. Am I right?
200? Can I borrow 200? Okay. You're 100% correct.
You're on, Clark.
Let's do a little rant real quick. I appreciate it, Mike. Listen, New York City right now, what's going on in New York City is out of control. Since May, the city recorded 291 shootings, a more than 140% increase over the same period in 2019. A 1-year-old child was killed in Brooklyn while in the stroller. An 8-year-old shot fighting for her life at Lincoln Hospital while she was in her home with her mother. Yesterday, or 2 days ago rather, a woman in Queens was found dead by her 14-year-old child, a victim of a stray bullet that came through her bedroom window. And today, I posted it on To The Point. There was a shootout in broad daylight on 141st or 142nd Street in Broadway. There was an arrest made, and the victim will survive. What is going on, folks? What is going on? What are elected officials doing? Why don't we hear from them? Are they afraid? What is the mayor doing? What is the governor doing? I have a suggestion. If you can't handle what's going on, call in the feds. National Guard does a great job. Look, as a former veteran, I know that they can fix the problem immediately. So let's cut to the chase for our elected officials. The people that are dying on the streets, the people that are getting hurt on the streets are your constituents. Mike, that's my rant. That's my story. Oh, we got to pay for that?
Yeah, that's going to leave a mark.
You know what? That window, they can invoice us. I'm sorry about that.
That's all. Just send it to attention Clark Pena. Okay, so
absolutely.
All right, so Clark, it's going to be a great show. We have a fantastic guest. I've only known about our guest for a couple of days, but from what I read, I'm just and I said it a little bit before the show, but it's an honor and a pleasure to have him on and to know him and people like him. And without further ado, you ready to bring on a guest?
He's an American hero, former retired ICE agent. A lot of people know him for a lot of great things that he has done. But before we bring him on, let's play the audio tape.
Okay.
It's Embassy, switch to office. This is Victor Avila from ICE. We are shot. We are on the highway of Querétaro, Mexico. We've been shot and attacked on the highway. I am an ICE special agent. What is your name, you said, sir? Victor Avila, please call Jerry Miles. I don't have another phone. So where did you look at? Please call Jerry Miles. We've been shot on the highway. Highway? What is the highway, sir? To where? Mexico Querétaro. They know where I'm at. Okay. Try to remain online, please.
Yeah, it is.
It's
something that might have me
tough.
to hear it. But let's bring him on, Clark. We have retired ICE Homeland Security Investigations Victor Avila. Let's bring him on. Hello, Victor.
Hi, Mike. Hi, Clark. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much.
Good to see you.
It's an honor to be your first guest on this wonderful podcast. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for submitting to this torture.
We'll be gentle.
We will be gentle.
We'll be gentle.
Go ahead, Clark.
Yeah, listen, I just I know Victor from a conference we attended in Baltimore, and I heard your story, and I said immediately, everyone has to hear the story because what he went through. Hey, look, he lost his partner. His partner was murdered in that same scene where he was involved, and we're lucky to have him here. So, Victor, without no further ado, and being that the time is what it is, tell us all about yourself. Tell us about Highway 57, and what happened on that day.
Yes, the incident that you guys are referring to happened back in 2011. I'm a retired ICE special agent under Homeland Security Investigations, and I was on an official assignment assigned to the U.S. Embassy in Mexico City back then. And in February 15th of 2011, Special Agent Jaime Zapata and I were sent on this mission. It's kind of a dubious mission. I had challenged the mission, but nevertheless, we're ordered to go on this Highway 57, which is the main corridor between Mexico City and Texas. In this case, we were meeting our counterparts from the Monterey office to go exchange or pick up some equipment from them. And on the way back, Jaime Zapata and I were ambushed by the Los Zetas cartel just past the state of San Luis Potosí. That encounter, it was two SUVs with 8 shooters that forced us off the road and got us to pull over and eventually fired upon us during the altercation. In our attempt to lock the doors, my window, the armored vehicle window, had lowered approximately 2 inches. If you see that on the right side, and 2 of the shooters came and introduced an AK-47 and a handgun right by my head. And this is after I had identified myself as an American, as a U.S. diplomat, as an U.S. Embassy employee, that the vehicle was a diplomatic vehicle. They heard me. They acknowledged that they heard me during their testimony in 2017. And so they still decided to open fire, in which they did. I was shot 3 times, and tragically, Special Agent Jaime Zapata lost his life, and he paid the ultimate sacrifice for our country that day.
Agent Zapata was your partner for a long time. Were you assigned together for this one?
No. It was I had just met Agent Zapata the day before. I had been traveling in and out of the country. Mexico at that time, even probably more so now, was the busiest ICE office in the world. As you can imagine, the conditions in Mexico are in shambles, even today as we speak. And Agent Zapata had only been in country as a temporary assignment agent, what we call a TDY, for a little over a week. And so I met him the day before, and they assigned him to me to go do this trip that they urgently wanted this equipment by the next day, by close of business. And so we had taken off very early that morning. And on the way back, about 4 hours south, or I should say north of Mexico City, is where the attack occurred.
What say you, Mike?
Well, the first question that comes to mind, because I did a lot of reading about this, Victor, and I was wondering is when they asked you to go get this equipment, I don't know how much detail you can go into, but is this a common thing? Did this happen a lot? Did they say, did you do this mission once before, or is this a,
That's a great question, Mike. This was a very unusual. We never did this before. We always traveled in a convoy, either with other U.S. agents in armored vehicles or with the host government, in this case, the federal police in Mexico, escorting us. That's the way we traveled every single time, especially on that road. The road, Highway 57, was not new to me. I had traveled it many, many times before.
right?
And it was always with an escort, and we were not given that courtesy, or my supervisors did not provide that. There was no operational plan like there usually was. And on top of all this, there was an alert that was issued by the U.S. Embassy through the U.S. ambassador just about 3 weeks before, prohibiting all U.S. personnel from traveling on that highway. And my supervisors ignored that alert.
And it never filtered down to you. You never heard that.
No, we knew about the alert. We all got the alert. It went through all U.S. personnel email. We all knew about it. And one of my supervisors that sent us on the mission, he said, and I quote, "I'm not aware of any security issues in Mexico." So I'm not sure what country he thought he was working in, but it to this day, it still astonishes me how the level of incompetence at that time was just kind of hitting us in the face. But I challenged the assignment, tried to get the equipment to be shipped either through a diplomatic pouch, via air. There's very, very other ways to get it to Mexico City, but they had denied all that. And
Wow.
I was in preview to all the briefings that were done weeks, as a matter of fact, months before that assignment.
In your professional opinion, Victor, was it incompetence, or do you believe you guys were set up?
Well, it's no, I don't think it was a setup. Obviously, I would never say that our supervisors intentionally put us in danger that way to get us hurt. No, for sure, that's not what happened here. But we knew the security issues that were happening, especially on this road. We knew the Zetas cartel controlled this region. That was no secret. I mean, I discussed that with the assistant attaché out of our office from Monterey. He's the one that said, "Listen, there's a bunch of firefights going on the highway between the Zetas cartel, the military, the police. It happens every day in Mexico, even worse now." And we knew about the intelligence. That's what we're there to do, right? We're gathering intelligence, and we're very aware of what's going on in the country. And that was brought up to the attention of my supervisor, but they still ignored it and still sent us on that mission.
Oh, well,
Wow.
listen, we can talk about Highway 57 for a long time, and also you have a book coming out that we're going to talk about. Where are you now as far as this case is concerned? Because I understand that your partner passed away. He was killed. He was murdered.
Yes.
And there is no closure.
It's a great question, Clark. Thanks for asking that, because almost 10 years after the attack,
Wow.
we are still trying to get documents from the government to get answers. That's one big issue that's never gone away. The other one now we're battling. It was just earlier this year, right at the beginning of the year, is the defendants were all captured and extradited to the U.S. and they were tried and they were sent to prison, federal prison. We weren't happy with the sentences because they ranged from 35 years down to 12 years. Two of the defendants did get 2 consecutive life sentences. The ones that went to trial and didn't speak a word and didn't want to cooperate. Well, earlier this year they had gone. The 2 that got the life sentences appealed their sentences, and they appealed the murder charge. And the D.C. Circuit Court of Appeals dismissed, in their words, in the court's words, is vacated the murder charge against Agent Jaime Zapata because the murder happened extraterritorially, meaning it happened outside of the United States. And so as we speak right now today, no one is held accountable for the murder of Special Agent Jaime Zapata. They are in prison for my attempted murder and gun charges, which to me, I don't care. I want them to be in prison and be held accountable for the murder of a U.S. agent abroad.
Right.
Absolutely.
Is there any Is there any international law then, Victor, this falls under? If it's not, doesn't fall under the blanket of the United States, able to prosecute a case since it happened outside of the border? Isn't it?
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be considered a war crime?
No, it's actually there's precedent set by other appellate courts. My understanding, there's 3 other appellate courts that had already upheld that any murder that happens to a U.S. American employee abroad, it's okay to use that murder statute to prosecute them. So I don't know why the D.C. Circuit Court of Appeals interpreted that differently. We are trying to change the law to make sure that it actually includes the word extraterritorially in there. And there's it's getting some movement through Congress, but that changing the law is not going to be retroactive. Right now, we're hoping that the Department of Justice, through the Office of the Solicitor General, push this case and file it with the U.S. Supreme Court.
Wow.
What can we do, Victor? I know we're going to have, thanks to Mike's outreach and outreach we've been doing together. What can we do as a group of law enforcement folks, as first responders? What do you suggest? Because we would love to help.
Is to bring awareness to our officials in Washington, D.C. This is important because we need to protect the hundreds and maybe thousands of U.S. agents that are abroad as we speak, are serving our country and all over the world. And we don't want this to be an open season on our U.S. federal agents, knowing that the cartels or other people will know that they're not going to be convicted of a murder charge. And so we need to fix it, and we need to fix it fast.
Exactly. That sets a precedent for them to it's open season on you guys down there, and it's terrible.
Right.
Absolutely. And from us, our deepest condolences to the Zapata family, and we're going to stay on this. Mike,
I will.
we have to stay on this because what happened.
And your family as well. I'm sure this is
absolutely
something.
You're a great family.
Yeah. Thank you. It was, really quick. It's been a journey, to say the least. We're in a much better place, but there was some rough times there after the shooting. And I remain in contact with the Zapata family. I will send them your condolences, and I talk to them briefly. They're on board, and they allow me to speak on their behalf when it's anything that we're trying to get done to get justice.
Yeah, and real quick,
Mike, if we can,
yeah.
We're talking, just put up Zapata's Agent Zapata's picture one more time.
Sure. And I wanted to show. I want to show some of the comments that are coming in. Some nice comments. Yeah. Wow. So that's
God bless
sad. Very, very, very sad. But we have some comments here. Let's see here. Great choice on first guest. Truly American hero. We have great job, Clark. And someone just asked also, what can regular people do? A petition, maybe, that you just kind of discussed this, Clark.
That's actually pretty good. I hadn't thought about that. A public petition to get it to the Department of Justice to make sure that this goes to the Supreme Court. The deadline is actually right around the corner. I'm hoping that at least give the Supreme Court the opportunity to listen to the case and do the right thing and bring back that murder charge. Because if it's dismissed, they have to go back to court and be resentenced. And there's a possibility that no longer the permanent, or I should say, the life sentences that they received can be reduced all the way down to 35 years.
Right.
Well, we're going to stay on it, Mike. We're going to stay on it. We're going to repeat this. We're going to keep talking about this. Let's get the picture. Whatever we have to do. This just can't stay the way it is. Victor, you spoke about some of these issues in an upcoming book. Is that correct?
My book, Agent Under Fire: A Murder in a Manifesto. I've been working on this project for over 4 years, and it's been quite an endeavor and a very, very personal thing for me, because I share not only my story about where I grew up and my law enforcement career, but obviously I focus on my assignment in Mexico and the shooting, and I go into detail and describe the whole thing from A to Z. And then the second part of the book is talking about my expertise and what I think about what we can be doing in our southern border when it comes to border security, illegal immigration, sanctuary cities, the wall, all those issues that affect us in our country. Mexico and the cartels are embedded in our communities in the United States. And I do these presentations around the country to U.S. law enforcement and military to bring awareness of the threat that the cartels already pose to our communities, especially right now with the methamphetamine and fentanyl that they are pouring into our communities with this deadly poison. And it's important to do something about it.
I still don't understand. I don't understand how they still get it into this country undetected. It blows my mind to know that, you know, you're down there, you know what's going on. People up here know that what's going on, but yet it still crosses the border and poisons so many people here.
It sure does. And the wall is coming up. It'll be helpful. It's not a solve all, but it's definitely a tool that really helps our men and women of Border Patrol and Customs and Border Protection. But also there's infrastructure, there's sensors, there's drones. I say let's give them all the tools, all the manpower necessary to do that. When it comes to the cartel, I think it's important at this point to designate some of them as foreign terrorist organizations. And I talk about it in my book in detail how that could be, because it's a designation that goes through the Department of State, who does it eventually goes to the president. But these cartels are worse than at this point than ISIS, Al Qaeda, and the Taliban.
There's actually a House Resolution 1700 that I guess is being proposed by Chip Roy. Are you familiar with that?
Yes, I am, and I'm a big supporter of it.
Okay, yeah, because that's to label drug cartels terrorist organizations, and that'll take care of a lot of the things that we were saying before, where you can't, cut through some of the red tape and charge them for what they did. And
well, it does immediately will do two things. One, it'll seize all assets, monies, the cartels that have all over the world in the world banking system. It'll seize their money. That's where it hurts them. Second, you are able to, it gives DOD resources to go after them. This is you're no longer treating them like a long-term investigation. I identified you and I'm going to follow you for 3 months and then follow this and follow that. Now you're a terrorist organization. Just so imagine you start to talk to someone from ISIS right now. What's going to happen? You're going to get a knock on the door from FBI, right?
Right.
Well, if you're a drug dealer in Chicago that is dealing the Sinaloa cartel's product, you are now a member of the Sinaloa cartel, which is a foreign terrorist organization. You get picked up, and there are different rules for that, and it'll be a cumbersome task between local, state, and federal agencies. But I think it could be done if the focus is done right. And President Trump is very aware of this. He mentioned this last year. He knows about the designation, and I hope he does it when he gets reelected.
Right. And
I remember.
real quick, Go ahead. I'm just going to play a comment, a really nice long comment here. Officer Pena, much love and gratitude for your service from my family to yours. Our niece was abducted and taken in Mexico in 2017. Federal officers were able to rescue her 9 months later. We will always hold you and your brothers and sisters in blue in our hearts. May God bless you and all who protect us. So a lot of comments like that. Bro.
Thank you, Kelly. And that was an email that I received, and what I did was all I did was connect the dots. I know people in the right places. We connected the dots, and she was brought home. So thank you for those comments. I appreciate that.
Wow. Amazing.
Thank you. And listen, how do we get that book?
Well, it's so exciting because it will be going live. Maybe by the time this interview is over, I have gotten word today that it's what they call, they're preparing the shelf, the store. And so it could go live today, between Saturday and Sunday, no longer than this Monday. And it'll be available for pre-order, and it will be available to actually order outright on October 20th.
Wow. That's great. Just from the stories alone, Victor, that has to be, you must have a lot in that book.
I share some of my law enforcement stories. There's a big section there on human trafficking. I'm a subject matter expert when it comes to human trafficking, and I worked a lot of that, and I rescued a lot of kids and women from sexual exploitation and forced labor conditions. And so I talk about that, human smuggling, the big cases that I did in my career, and bring awareness to that, and also to share those stories with the readers.
Nice.
Just a few accolades that you've received and awards. The National Latino Peace Officers Association, was that 2012?
That's 2012, yes.
That was a bravery award.
Yes, it was. It was a great honor.
Then
It
the
was a great honor.
Global Alliance Hispanic Law Enforcement Professionals gave you a heroism award. I was there for that one.
That was last year this time, Clark.
It wasn't really. Time flies.
Almost to the date. A year ago to the date.
Wow. And also the other one that's where I met Vice President Mike Pence. You
Yes, we did.
received the Avila Award
Yes,
from
that was
Hapcoa.
it was a Medal of Honor award from HAPCOA, and my family and I got a chance to meet with Vice President Pence in private. It was a great honor to meet him and share our story with him. The Zapata family, his parents, were there as well, and it was a great event. I was able to share my story in a presentation also at that conference. So
Yes.
It was a great experience overall.
What was the Vice President's reaction when you did tell him the story? Did he know about the story?
He was briefed on it and he knew about it. He was very attentive and listened to every word that we said. He invited me to come to the White House anytime I wanted. Very receptive, very pro law enforcement, and really I felt that he had our back. And that's something that, as we know in law enforcement, the backup is something so important, especially in the times that we're living right now. Just in your opening, Clark, and what you alluded to, our men and women in law enforcement and first responders need all the support that they can get at this time because times are rough.
Yeah, that's
They're
for
really
sure.
rough. Mike.
Sure. Victor, what do you have coming up? I see you're running for something.
Well, I figured I went with my book. I do these presentations, and I figured, I have a lot of public service in me. I have 20 years of public service. And I figured what better way than to continue that public service. And in this case, I'm running for my local city council in Southlake, Texas, and really want to be able to give back. Not only do I have the law enforcement experience, but I bring, the government experience as far as running budgets and policies. And I really I'm citizen focused. You mentioned this, Clark. This time, local elections and local officials and elected officials are at utmost importance. They have the power to keep our city safe and secure in the decision making. And so I want to bring my leadership to continue to keep Southlake safe as it is, especially our schools, and also to be able to be focused with the citizens and what benefits them. I'm focused on to represent the citizens and what they need.
Is that your platform, Victor? What's your
safety and security is my platform. There's a big issue here on multifamily units. They don't exist in a small community. That's another platform. We want to continue to keep our community. It's a unique community of about 31,000 residents. It is an affluent community, and that's okay. It's a lot of people that live here, like myself and my wife that moved here, have sacrificed a lot in our hard work to be able to live in a beautiful place like this. And so I want to be able to maintain that. I'm big on low taxes and lower our property taxes and balance our budgets and continue to enhance the city council. And I think I'll be an asset to it.
And this is once again Southlake, Texas.
Southlake City Council, Southlake, Texas. Early voting will start October 13th, and now we're on the general election on November 3rd because it was going to be back in May, but because of COVID, most local elections were postponed, and now we're going to be in the general election. So if you're listening to this and you are in the Southlake, Texas area, you get to vote, and I hope I can earn your vote.
Yes, we really can't endorse, but I look forward to everyone else's concession fees and for your acceptance.
Well, thank you for that, Clark. I appreciate it.
That's a great way of saying it.
You're welcome. Absolutely. Yes. How's the family? I know that I met your son. I met your wife in Baltimore. How are they?
They're doing good. They've adjusted well. My son is a sophomore in high school. He's continued to play soccer. My daughter is now a senior at St. Edward's University in Austin. She is home now because they went online only. But she wishes she was in Austin. She'll go back in the spring. My wife, has been the pillar. I can't give her enough credit for what she's done for me and my family because I always kid around a little bit that if I wasn't a good person to be around before the shooting, I wasn't a really good person after the shooting. It was rough times, and she had plenty of reasons to say I'm out of here, but she stuck with me, and I give her all the credit in the world, because I'm here because of God's grace, and because He gave me my wife to be able to support me and put me in and see me through this. And by the way, we are celebrating our 22nd wedding anniversary this coming Saturday. Tomorrow.
Congratulations. What's it? Do we have the?
Boy, am I lucky! I remember that, right?
Hey, Mike, do we have that track?
Which track, Clark?
We need some applause here.
Some applause. Yeah, but I have to ask before we get to the applause. Were you 8 years old when you got married?
Yeah. I was
There you go.
a young buck. I was a young buck. No, I wasn't that young, but I know. Well, I'll take it as a compliment, Mike. Thank you.
Yeah. No.
How many years, Victor?
22. So last year, Clark, in New York, when I was honored by Gallup, we celebrated our 21st wedding anniversary. That's why I know exactly the date, and
wow.
It was such a treat. This year, we won't be able to be doing travel anywhere because of the campaign. I actually have our first debate on Sunday, so I'll be prepping for that tomorrow. But we will go out and experience and have a nice dinner. But it's been 22 great years, and I wouldn't change them for the world.
Great family. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay. We could talk to Victor for hours, Clark.
Oh, yeah. You better believe it. Believe it. And I saw some. Yep, go ahead.
On a side note, I have to say I'm very impressed, Victor, with a world record that you hold.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, that's that happened. It happened actually in July, but it became official just a couple of weeks ago. And so you're speaking to the world record holder for the longest handgun shot distance of 2,010 yards with a handgun using a brace that USA One Shot. I don't know if you met them, Clark. They were there at in Baltimore.
Were those the ones with the blue?
They had it's a brace that you put on your, yes, it's a brace that you put up to your handgun, USA One Shot, and they want to promote this for officer safety. It kind of makes any handgun into like a mini rifle, and the officers can carry that on their belts. So in an active shooter situation, they pick it up, put it up on their gun, and I shot that with a 10 millimeter at 2,010 yards and hit the target. I also set a second record at 1650 yards, 1,650 yards with another 10 millimeter. Hit that target 5 times, and it was incredible. I'm not a competitive shooter by any means. I do have obviously a lot of shooting experience because of my law enforcement career. But USA One Shot was very, very courteous to me to come and give it a shot, literally, for the record. And they were very confident that I was going to hit it. And we went out there to a salt flat in Nevada. And my son and I went out there during the summer, and it got done, and it happened. And so that's a nice accolade to have.
And another thing too, with the brace that you used, it still wasn't a rifle because you're still using a 5-inch barrel. So it's not.
It has no. Yeah, it's completely separate from the handgun. The officer, it's a piece of plastic that is molded. You just grab it and put it up to your gun, and you grab the gun with the brace at the same time. And so if you could hit targets at 2,000, that's the point they want to make. If you could hit those targets, and I've shot other targets at 50, 75 yards, it's like you're shooting at 5 yards. It's that accurate, and it helps you so much, especially when an officer is under distress in an active shooter situation, God forbid at a school or a mall. That's why they call it USA One Shot. You could get him, boom, and take out the threat in one shot.
Wow, incredible.
Council member Avila, good shot.
I like the ring to that.
That's right.
And just so you know, Victor, me and Clark are able to go to the White House. We could send you our schedule that we have open dates for. So when you go to the White House, and you need company because we're good company.
I'll bring you guys along.
Not only that, look, I'll come in as a housekeeper. No worry about it. I'll use the side door.
No, but it's great to have you on, Victor. It's an honor, and just great comments came in, and it's there's really not much to say. I have no words, Clark. What about you? What how do we wrap this up in a way?
It's very simple. It's a great honor to have an American hero with us here today. He's still fighting the fight. Still fighting the fight. He's retired and he's still in the fight. His partner hasn't had closure yet, so he's going to fight until the end. And I know you're going to get justice. I really do know this. We're going to do this together. We're going to make it happen.
Definitely will, Clark. Thank you so much for that.
And we look forward to your book, Victor.
Yes, thank you so much. I'm very excited about that. That's very near and dear to my heart, that project, and very excited that it's finally done.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Thank you for taking the time, man.
Yes,
thank you for the honor to have me. Thank you so much.
And good luck with the book, and good luck with your run. And it was great having you. And I'm sure we're going to see you again real soon.
Always welcome back.
Thank you so much, guys.
Thanks, Victor. Have a good. So that was retired ICE Homeland Security Investigations Victor Avila, and what a great guest! What a great guest!
Yeah, it's amazing. He's a gentleman, and he speaks from the heart. And I really do believe he's going to be the council member in South Lakes. I really believe that.
Yeah, it's just you just run out of words. What can you say? You want to, he's a great guy, great personality. When he went through, you don't want to wish upon your worst enemy, and it's just. And
there's a lot of underlying factors that come from combat, the post-traumatic stress disorder, and everything else. And his family stuck together, and that talks a lot about the family structure that he had before and now after the incident, and while he moves on to the city council.
Right. Very good.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna wrap it up. We have any more time left, or we're gonna wrap it up so we can just say goodbye to a few people?
Yeah, we ran over our time because how do you keep that to 28 minutes with someone like Victor?
Isn't that a shame? We just want to thank a couple of people, and I want you to take the opportunity to give a couple of shout outs as well, because this was a task. Getting the pictures and talking all the time, but I think we had a great first program. I hope people agree, so they can join us again. I want to thank the president of the NYPD Sergeants Benevolent Association, Ed Mullins. Ed is a no-nonsense labor leader, represents the sergeants in the NYPD, and we thank him. We thank his vice president, Vincent Dallalong, and the rest of his team. He has a great office, and keep the fight. We're in this together, President Mullins. So we want to thank you for making it possible for us to be here today.
Yeah. And just thanks for everybody for watching and tuning in. And once we're done with the live stream, it's going to be out there. So feel free to share it, like it. It's going to be available on more platforms once it's shared. Right now, we're going to 8 Facebook groups. Where we have a dedicated page called To the Point with Clark Pena, where it's streaming to, and plus other locations. There's a lot, so you could really see it anywhere you want. Please share it, please like it, and we're going to bring you new shows every Friday night, 7:30 p.m. Let us know, what kind of guests that you want to see, or any input you have to the show. Make it, more to your liking, or something that you don't like. Let us know, but hopefully it's more likes than dislikes.
We have a date next week, Mike. Friday.
We do. So on that note, Clark, is a good show, and thanks again to Victor. Thank you for the opportunity to be here with you guys, and we'll see you next week. God bless. Thank all the law enforcement officers out there doing a great work. Thank you, first responders. We salute you. Yes, take care.
See you next week.